Alright, what is going on? This is Dog Meat. I'm back again. I'm going to try and attempt to do the Loki and Ash video. Really, dude? You trolling me? Just to basically explain the differences kind of between the two frames. Not really like which one is better or whatever, but just kind of put the information out there. Mostly for newer players to decide, you know, like which one they prefer. Me personally, like, I'll be honest, like, I love every Warframe in this game. There's some of them that I may not care for as much as others, but for the most part, I found a use for each and every one. So I'm in the Cephalon Samaris like little chamber and everything, and you new guys who don't know is basically once you get enough reputation through Cephalon Samaris, you unlock the simulator room, and that's what this is here. So basically, you could go in here and you could select the enemies that you have scanned or synthesized, and they'll be in the inventory. So depending on your mastery rank is going to be dependent on how high you can take these guys. So like if I take like this Arid Butcher for example, let's say like let's have about 2 of those guys, right? Grab a couple of these like a heavy gunner, and then we'll grab like let's try some Lancers, maybe throw about 10 Lancers in here, right? So once we select them up and everything, then we can go ahead and select their, like the settings that we're going to do. You pause the AI, you could go for invincibility, you could have friendly fire and everything like that. So what we'll do is we'll just take these guys up to like, you know, what max Warframes, you know, would be, which is your, you know, level 30. So the funny thing about Warframe is your weapons and your Warframes level out at 30, but depending on how you mod your Warframe is going to be basically like how powerful, you know, you can make that frame. So we're going to take a little look here at Loki first. I'm going to show like his abilities and everything like that. I'm going to switch my Roctus Cernos out for like a shotgun. This is basically like what I like to kind of run in sorties and everything, higher level missions. Most of the times that you find that every frame has a survivability in its own right. The only difference is it depends on, you know, how mobile you are with some frames. Some frames require a lot of mobilities, others, you know, they're kind of tanky, and you could, you know, take a little bit of punishment and not be as mobile as would be required for, you know, somebody like Nova or Banshee. So real quick, these are his abilities. For anybody who hasn't had, you know, the privilege of playing on Loki and everything, or hasn't had it available, you know, this is just basically what his Warframe abilities are real quick, which is basically, you know, the decoy. I'll explain these as we actually go in the simulator. And then you have invisibility and switch teleport and radial disarm. And like I said, every Warframe has a passive ability, and you could take a look at each one of these. And basically when you come to the menu and you go and you look at your Warframe, you hit the right track. So what I'm showing here on Loki is I have 2 builds for him, and right now I'm just kind of playing around with like the mods that we get from the Plains of Eidolon to see if, you know, I could get a decent build out of them. That's what I love about this game is, you know, you constantly experiment. There is no right way as far as like, you know, playing it and everything, because I've seen some channels that have had some pretty crazy builds, but it seems to work pretty well for the players. A lot of people like to throw a Constitution on Loki and everything, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your duration up. As you can see on the stats off on the left, I have some pretty decent duration on Loki here and stuff, you know, and mainly what that is for is his invis. That's why the range is reduced, because I'm not going for, you know, any of his other abilities. The main purpose of this ability is for the invisibility, and I like using his augment. Now when I use higher, when I get up in higher levels in missions and stuff like that with the enemies and everything, this is the build that I normally tend to use, mainly like sorties. Anybody who doesn't know, once you get past a certain point in Warframe and you get past certain quests, you start getting basically a set of missions which is known as sorties available to you. And basically these missions will have like modifiers, like either towards the benefits of the enemies or the disadvantage of the Warframe, pretty much, like energy or whatever. So like what I mean by that is, you know, some will basically, you know, have like more armor, which obviously that benefits the enemy and it doesn't really do anything towards your Warframe. You know, other modifiers will be reduced energy, which obviously is a disadvantage for your Warframe or whatever build you have. One of the things about Loki is his invisibility doesn't really chew up that much energy, which is why you want to go for the duration on it, so that you can stay invisible as long as you can. And some of these, you know, like with the modifiers, like when I do extermination missions on, or survival missions on sorties, what I find with the sorties is not only are the enemies more difficult, but there is an increased number of enemies as well. So that's why the invisibility comes in handy, and that's why the hushed invisibility is really great. So we're going to go ahead and simulate this, and I'm going to go ahead and show off Loke Dog here a little bit. Let me grab some energy. So as you can see, these dudes are already spamming me. Now what you can do is his first ability, which is basically like his decoy, and I don't put it over there, but it should be wherever you're aiming the reticles. And there's the invisibility, teleport, and then what we're going to do is we're going to show off basically the difference. Now I'll explain my Rakta Dagger build, my Rakta Dark Dagger build in a little bit. Let's see this guy. There we go. And I'll show you like some of the mods that are beneficial to having some that are stealth. Okay, so I showed the switch tele, the invis, I showed his decoy. One of the cool things about his decoy is basically if you find hard to get spaces, you can switch teleport to his decoy. Or, you know, like I said, or switch teleport the enemy, which leaves him confused. So this is his hushed invisibility. Now, I believe the weapon that he's using is a Lex or Lex Prime. So even though I have the Tigress Prime, my a different weapon altogether. Apparently I missed a guy over here. So let's see, sneak up behind this guy, boom. And I'll show you guys this build on this dagger in a second and everything. This is actually whichever frame you guys decide to go with. Let's see, let me throw a decoy up there. He fell off the map. He fell off the map again. Alright, let me try it again. Man, I don't know what is going on with this reticle. But either way, normally what happens is wherever you place the reticle, that's where you can put your decoy at. And what I was going to do is I was going to switch teleport over to the top of this. And I don't know if you guys have been having problems, but I've been having difficulty with the bullet jump as well. I don't know if it's something that they did, some new update or whatever, but yeah, so that is Loki's ability. Now off his fourth ability because I was saving that for the other build that I have. Okay, here, the hushed invisibility, basically you could read the augment, which all of his weapons, like the noise is gone, so you could run around with a shotgun and basically take out enemies at higher levels. I like to use the energy siphon on them and everything like that because the main purpose of this ability is to basically keep getting the energy so you can keep going invisible. Sorry, can't speak there for a second. Okay, so now this build, what I have here is I took a little off of the duration, but I wanted to add the radiating disarm. And what this is basically going to do is as enemies group up together, they're basically going to fight each other. So the main thing with a lot of these stealth frames is they obviously can sneak up on enemies, which will increase your affinity, multiplier and everything. And basically that's the main thing about doing stealth kills that you like, is basically getting that affinity multiplier. So I'm using like the mod that's specific to it that you get through Red Veil. And of course the Rock the Dark Dagger you could get through Red Veil as well. But the mod that you're looking for most of these stealth frames is Covert Lethality, which it does a ridiculous amount of damage if you are actually able to get stealth kills. In most cases, actually like is a one-hit kill, which is what you saw with Loki over there. So we're gonna go back over here, grab some more energy. And one thing I like about Loki is he is a fast Warframe. So like, you know, other than Avara, like Avara, you kind of, unless you get her augment, you still kind of move slow and everything like that. So we're going to go invis. I'm going to head over here to these enemies, and then we're going to do a radiate and disarm. Which basically these guys will start attacking each other. As long as you stay out of sight, these guys can pretty much club each other to death. Let's see if I can get my Syndicate to proc on this map with this Rock the Dark Dagger like I was talking about in one of the previous videos. As you can see, this thing draws ridiculous. Now you see like most of these guys are low on energy, right? Let's go ahead and disarm them again. And what his power does is it basically takes away like it jams basically like the enemy's like weapons and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny because like the MOAs, when you do the ability on like the MOAs on the Corpus and stuff, you know how they have like the two legs and they have the head that's kind of like a cannon. Yeah, they'll basically sit there and try and kick at you or kick at you know whoever. But what a radiating disarm is it disorients the enemy to where they start attacking each other. I think she's the only one left. So we'll check it out. Yeah, she is the only one left. Let me see if I can sneak up behind her. Boom. She's alert, so she wasn't able to get the stealth multiplier. Oh wow, I got another dude. Let's see if I can find this guy. Where you at, buddy? See? But that is Loki in a nutshell. He's a very fun frame. I do enjoy using him a lot, you know. I use him for a lot of things. Why? My Loki decoy falling off the map. And now he's at the bottom. That is awesome. One of the things I've been noticing is, I guess after these guys didn't, like look at this, my bullet jump's not going as high as it should be. Which is why I'm trying to switch teleport up there. And I totally jumped off of that. Oh, come on, dude. Come on, Loke. Right there. What the hell? So, anyways, I'm getting shortcutted on my freaking bullet jump here. And I've noticed this has been happening. And I thought it was just me. But my friends have been kind of noticing the same issue, too. So, like, you guys let me know if you've been having similar issues with this. Alright, so that's Loki in a nutshell. Now, Ash, I'm going to show his abilities like just once because, to be honest, the only thing I have on Ash is basically a Seek and Shuriken augment. And I'm looking and kind of playing around with Ash as far as like other builds. So we'll look at his abilities like really quick for you newer guys. Now, Ash is kind of a pain in the ass to get, man, because you have to look for those maniacs and stuff that come out. And they're pretty random. Like basically you go through missions with the Grenier, and as you're killing them they'll pop up. They make this, you know, crazy laughing like sound and stuff like that, and then they'll start coming after you. And when you kill them, they're supposed to drop Ash parts and stuff like that. If there's a better way of getting Ash, you guys let me know. For me, basically I just happen to be at the market, you know, Maru's Bazaar or whatever, you know, one of the relays. And one of the guys was actually selling like a Nova Prime, which is, you know, the Nova Prime that you guys saw in one of my last videos. So I asked him how much, and you know, he was selling her like really cheap. So then, you know, he turns around and goes, well, do you want an Ash Prime too? And I said, well, you know, how much do you want? And he's like, man, 130 plat for both frames. And I was like, really? And so I was like, shit, I'm jumping on that. So that's how I picked up Ash Prime here. And Nova Prime as well. So as you can see, basically, you can see what the from all my yapping and everything like that, I don't know if you guys have seen the abilities or been reading, but this is what he does. Now, Ash's teleport, the reason why I think a lot of people compare these guys is because their abilities are similar, but Ash's teleport is a lot more in your face. And I'll show you guys in a second. Mainly, like, I throw on, like, the, you know, bows, and I'll do, like, stars and stuff, just to get the, like, full ninja feel with Ash and everything. Like, I really enjoy this Warframe. Let me show the build off real quick, so you can take a look at his augment and see what I'm going for. Again, me basically is all about survivability. You know, as far as like being more mobile and jumping around and stuff like that. I need to work on his build a little bit more because unfortunately I love using his abilities so much that I usually run out of energy. But as you can see, this is what Seeking Shuriken does, and it is awesome. The few times that I've tried Conclave, Ash has been my go-to frame. I enjoy using Ash in Conclave, the few matches that I played and everything. So it was funny, like, there's one match where I actually had a lot of these guys pissed at me. So we're going to do his teleport like real quick. His first ability is basically the Seeking Shuriken. As you can see, it dropped that guy's armor, which is why I like using the Grineer, because they do have a high amount of armor, and they do you know, are a little bit more challenging to kind of take out than the Corpus. The Corpus, the nullifiers, is probably like the biggest challenge with them. And then you do the switch teleport. And then check this out. This is his invis. Same as Loki's, except the only difference is he drops a smoke bomb just like the ninjas would, and it disorients the enemies. Now we're going to show off the Blade Storm. Now the Blade Storm, you can line your enemies up, and basically what you do is you're going to hold down your bumper, mark that guy, and then he does the basically the animation, which is hella cool. So it's going to be interesting to see the Ash changes with the whole Blade Storm. But I guess that ability was pretty strong and everything like that. So, let's see here. Where's that guy at? What? I'm going to switch teleport over to this dude. I love this switch teleport, man. Or, it's not a switch teleport, but it's a teleport straight to these dudes. Don't run from me. And I just love, like, this game. Like, how fun it is just to murk enemies. Oh, come on, man. Seriously? I don't know what is going on with the bullet jump lately, but it is driving me crazy. So, basically, that's it between the two frames. That's, you know, pretty much I'm just kind of like leaving it up to, you know, your decision as a new player, you know, which frame you like or don't like. Me personally, like I said, I like them both. To me, I look at Loki as the trickster, and then I look at Ash as the ninja amongst ninjas. Because as you can see, like, a lot of his abilities are fun. So we come in here and there's enemies. It is just too fun to play on Ash, man. Yeah, I had, like, when I was in Conclave and everything like that, the Seeking Shuriken ability came in pretty handy, like, kind of bouncing out of situations. I'll tell you what, man, that Conclave, I think they could do, like, if they just gave it a little more love, I think it could be an awesome, like, game mode. But, yeah, I was a busy motherfucker in it, that's for sure. Because, you know, like I said, mobility equals survivability. And that was, like, non-stop. There was no, like, you know, camping, at least in my case, in the lobbies I was in, everybody was all over the place. The only thing I had is I had like a couple frosts like here and there that were just kind of putting their bubble up and, you know, being difficult to kind of kill. But yeah, I love Ash was awesome and he did a good job. This bullet jump shit is killing me, man. Is it my freaking... It can't be my controller, because I had a friend that was having the same issues. I had another friend that we almost failed the sortie because he was having similar issues with it. Because you guys know how like normally the bullet jump is pretty high up, but look at what it's doing now. So either way, I'm gonna get out of here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video and everything. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to do this quick video kind of explaining the difference between like Ash and Loki. Like I said, I mean, I enjoy them both. I think it's kind of like a, you know, a moot point as far as like the argument on which one's the better stealth frame, because they all have different aspects of like gameplay and stuff. Like I said, I mean, I feel Ash is more offensive and everything, whereas Loki is more of the trickster, kind of sneak around and just, you know, survive like the situation. There's in my opinion, a lot more tools in Ash's kit than Loki's. But yeah, like I said, I use them for different things. I enjoy them both. I just don't think that you know, there's not much of the similarities aside from like, you know, how they have their abilities mapped out. Those are similar, but you know, they're two different frames in my opinion. So either way, like, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you're enjoying Warframe, and yeah, hopefully you get your hands on some of these frames. And since they just did the unvaulting for the primes as far as like Loki, Ember, and Frost, I highly recommend getting all of those frames because they are very good frames. So that's it, and I hope you guys have a good day.